Matt Rhule just wrapped up his massive press conference, recapping the Akron game, what we need to work on, and where we go from here. And man, oh man, it was one of his best yet. He was very honest, and he shared a lot of inside info, particularly one quote that is going viral, the mindset of this team, how it's different than past years. We'll talk about it, along with a couple breakout players you can expect this week. One player in particular on the defensive line, buy stock on him right now. It's not who you're expecting. We'll talk about him, along with a couple other nuggets, and then we'll get to the ESPN FBI ranking. You aren't going to believe it, because even I was shocked. Nebraska is sky high. We'll talk about that, along with a brand new alternate uniform confirmed for this Saturday, what you can expect there. We'll talk about Michigan, their performance on Saturday, Iowa, a couple other opponents on the schedule, and a couple other things that we need to discuss. So really quick, this video is jam-packed. If you're having a good Monday, I know I am, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily content and Huskers, it's no brainer. Take seconds, join this family, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. I want to get things started with Matt Rhule's press conference. We'll get to the ESPN FBI rankings later, because it is nuts. We'll get to the AP poll later, some opponents down the schedule, our brand new alternate uniforms this Saturday. But let's start off with Matt Rhule, because, man, he had some great sound bites. One in particular is going viral. He said that at halftime versus Akron, he completely lost it on the team. He was furious. He was not okay with the product on the field, because he said, and I quote, "We didn't have the killer mindset." Okay, because if you go back to where we were at the very end of the half versus Akron, we were up big. We were up 30 plus points, but Akron drove down the field with ease, missed a field goal that could have got rid of the shutout. And he said that against these inferior teams like an Akron, like a MAC team, like an FCS squad, you need to dominate for every single quarter, every single play. You can't take your foot off the gas. And if you do take your foot off the gas, it means you're not a very good football team. It means you don't have that mindset that it takes to win 9-10 games this conference. Because if you can't have that killer mindset versus Akron, you're absolutely not going to have it versus Michigan. So that's the difference about what this team's doing this year. And I told you guys the day before Akron, I told you on Friday night, expect Nebraska to win by 60. And I got laughed at. People said Nebraska hasn't won by 60 in this decade, in 20 years, 30 years. It's not going to happen. Okay, we're not good enough. And I said, just wait, because we have a killer mindset this year. And also, we're trying to embarrass Akron with everything, all the smoke, all the, the coach disrespecting Matt Rhule in the past. So listen, we ended up putting 60. That's the difference about this team this year. But again, results matter. It's not about moral victories anymore. It's about winning, and it's about winning big. Okay, that's the difference. So get used to it, guys. But that was the first thing. And he was mad. He was very angry at the team. That's good. If you're angry, if you're always trying to improve and you're up, 30 plus to 0, it says a lot, because you're going to continue to improve. You're a perfectionist, and that's good in the game of football. I want to talk about one player on the defensive line who you need to buy stock on right now, because not only did he perform well versus Akron, but he's going to play a lot next week and throughout the rest of the season. It's not who you're expecting. And you're probably thinking I'm going to talk about Cade Petchuk. He's great, and we'll talk about him in a later video. But the player who I want to discuss today is Gabe Moore, transfer from Mississippi State. I don't know if you catched it, but he played very well versus Akron. He only played a couple snaps. Again, this was his first game where he was healthy, but there was one player in particular where Akron was on the 1 yard line. They ran it right up the middle, and Gabe Moore was double teamed and still got to the running back, brought him down right on the goal line. Should have honestly been a safety. And there were a couple times, particularly in the running game, where he would get to the quarterback, get to the running back, and make a big TFL or a tackle. So again, Gabe Moore, he was shouted out by Matt Rhule today. He officially is on this depth chart. So he replaced David Hoofkin. David Hoofkin was the third string defensive tackle. Now Gabe Moore has replaced him there. So you can just buy some Gabe Moore stock, because I really liked him as a transfer. He has all 4 years of eligibility remaining. He's super athletic. It's just about him figuring out his injuries and what he does off the field. But if he can do all that right, he's going to be a really good player for Nebraska. And we need him to step up, because we know this defensive line is suspect, to say the least. And again, that's a conversation for another day. Matt Rhule talked a little bit about Dylan Raiola as well. He said, all the flashy stuff around Dylan was great. The touchdowns, the completion percentage, the yards, all that was awesome. But the best part about Dylan Saturday, was the fact he didn't have any turnovers. He didn't throw any interceptions. And really, Dylan didn't throw any balls in harm's way, right? Sometimes, especially against Cincinnati, he had probably 2 or 3 worthy balls that should have got picked off, right? And that did not happen at all versus Akron. So that was the best part of Dylan. But not only him, again, TJ Lateef didn't really have any balls that probably should have been picked off. So again, that's really the preaching to this quarterback room. You can be aggressive, but when you're aggressive, you got to make sure you make that throw, or else, again, we're going to be very hard on you, because we want perfection from our quarterbacks. He said that Donovan Jones is getting his black shirt. It's official. So we have, I believe, our 12th black shirt right now. So shout out to Donovan Jones. He's been playing well along with this entire secondary. But my big question is, when is Williams Nwaneri getting this black shirt? Because in my opinion, and this isn't just my opinion, this is anybody who's watched the defensive line extensively, anybody who's watched the film, he has been our best defensive lineman in 2 games, and it's really not even close. Like, he's been better than Cam Lenhart, who has a black shirt. He has definitely been better than Elijah Judy has a black shirt, right? You go down the line. He's been better than Keanu Davis. So when's Williams Nwaneri get his black shirt? I don't know. I'm just saying he got to get one. Take away Elijah Judy's. Give it to Williams, because Williams been playing a lot better. Let's just be very honest. He said Jacory Barney had a good day. Of course, he didn't know if Jacory Barney was actually going to play, but Jacory has that killer mindset that we need. He shouted out Larry Tarver and Jeremiah Charles for having some good snaps. He said those guys are both going to start on the team next year, so I get a lot of questions about those 2 guys, but they played well. And he said at the end of the press conference, this is something that I harp all the time, he tells the team to get used to the pressure, because the pressure is never going to go away. At the University of Nebraska, people expect a lot, okay, from the football team. So got to get used to the spotlight, get used to the pressure, because when you get good, it's only going to get worse. And if you're not used to it now, you're going to crumble against Michigan. You're going to crumble against Penn State. So that's why I've harped all offseason. I want us to be ranked. I want people to talk about us, because I want the team to get used to the spotlight. Because if they're, in the shadows and nobody's talking about them, nobody's expecting anything of them, when they actually do get good, they're going to be shell-shocked. They need to get used to it right now. And Matt Rhule said that's been the focus. All right. Let's go to the alternate uniforms. We'll talk about ESPN FBI in a second, but this was released by the media team last night, and a lot of people really didn't think too much of it, right? This is just a red moon, basically. It's a graphic, and it says, has a little hourglass emoji. People were thinking, okay, what's this going to be? Well, if you go back to what I revealed on the channel just about 2 months ago, what did I tell you? I said Nebraska is planning on wearing the all-red uniforms versus Houston Christian, and that's exactly what is going to happen. So again, all red this Saturday. It will be the first time we've wore all red since 1986 versus Oklahoma. We lost this football game for that reason. The all reds went to the shadow realm. We've never worn them again, but we will finally be bringing them back simply because the players really like the all reds. The recruits really like them, so they're going to give them an opportunity. I'm not really a huge fan of the all reds. I absolutely want to hear your thoughts down below, but again, something we told you guys in July. Expect the all reds for Houston Christian, and then of course the other inside scoop when it comes to the uniforms, expect the all whites versus Minnesota. They're coming back as well. So definitely, I know I'm going to get some thoughts about that. All right, let's go to the ESPN FBI rankings. Guys, I don't know if you saw this, but they were pretty ludicrous. Nebraska, according to ESPN, is the 12th best team in America. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are 12 in ESPN's FBI. They expect us to go 10-2 on the year. If you've seen the odds of us beating Michigan, according to ESPN, it says we have a 65% chance to defeat them in about 2 weeks. So again, that's absolutely crazy. They say we have a 100% chance to get 6 wins. Again, they say we have a 33% chance to make the college football playoffs. So again, stuff like that, absolutely insane. And I'm not going to sit here and act like ESPN, specifically the FBI rankings, I'm not going to sit here and act like they're the greatest source in the world. Like, they're consistently wrong. It's all backed by data, granted, but they got some weird rankings. Let's just be very honest. But again, it just shows that even the computers are starting to respect Nebraska a lot, but we're waiting on us to actually get ranked. Speaking of the real rankings, we didn't move up, nor did we move down this week. We are once again 35 in America. We actually received 1 less vote. So last week we had 13 votes. This week we actually got less, and we got 10 votes, and we're still 35th in America. So we're not even close to getting ranked, which I think is perfectly fine. I got a lot of questions when we beat Akron. People were asking me, are we going to be ranked because we beat them by 70? And I said, absolutely not. Like, nobody cares. Nobody nationally cares that we beat Akron by that much, because that's what you should do, right? This is what you should do. So again, it doesn't move the needle, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And it should be noted, Michigan, while they did lose, they're still ranked, which I think will be good for us, because I want to get that ranked win versus them in 2 weeks. Speaking of Michigan, I mean, let's talk about their game, because again, they lost to Oklahoma. They played the exact same time we did. So I know a lot of you guys probably didn't watch them play, but again, they lost 24-13. I mean, just going to their performance, there was a lot of things that they struggled at, particularly with Bryce Underwood. I told you guys, versus New Mexico, I was not impressed with Bryce Underwood. I thought he struggled a lot, and he did the exact same thing. He went 9 for 24 140 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a QBR of 40. He probably should have had a couple balls that were picked off, a couple of them were dropped. So, I mean, he was absolutely, I will just say this, he was not very good at all. Again, he was a little bit shell-shocked being in an away stadium, right? It was a night game. You know, those Sooner fans are going crazy. So he didn't have a very good performance. The wide receivers didn't do well. Really, what I thought was interesting about Michigan, their defense didn't hold up, particularly the defensive line. So, again, they have some issues on that team. The only thing I'll say about Michigan, as you can see on the stat sheet, they still got a dog at running back. Like, watch out for Justice Hayes when we end up playing him, because, again, he averaged 6 yards a carry, 125 yards. He ran from about 200 yards versus New Mexico, because he's going to be good. But, again, I'm not going to sit here and act like we're going to beat Michigan now. I still believe that it's going to be a very tough game and go down the wire. Again, there's a lot of variables going in our favor. The fact it's a home game, a true freshman quarterback for them. They don't have Sharon Moore for that game, but still, Michigan's very talented, and we still have to improve. I think there's probably a little bit too much Kool-Aid flowing after a win versus Akron. Talking about some other games over the weekend, I mean, let's just laugh for a second. Let's sit here and laugh at Iowa. I mean, all the hype, all the crap they talked all offseason that they have this great quarterback, Mark Gronowski. They paid him $1 million to come in from South Dakota State. He set a record that's never happened before in the Big Ten. The least amount of passing yards from a quarterback debut in the first 2 weeks in the Big Ten. Okay. I think totally it was 120 passing yards in 2 weeks. For context, TJ Lateef, who only played 3 or 4 drives for Nebraska, also had 120 passing yards. Okay. That, again, unbelievable. Mark Gronowski stinks, man. He stinks. And he only had 40 passing yards versus Albany. Yeah, he's terrible. But, I mean, Iowa still has some things going in their favor. I mean, they got a decent running attack. They got a decent defense. But, I mean, I'm looking at the schedule for Iowa. I'm expecting them to win 5 games. So that's just funny to me. But, again, what we saw versus them against Iowa State could be a completely different team when we end up playing them at the end of November. We know how it is, right? That's the con about playing Iowa is they're going to struggle at the start of the year. But when we end up playing them, they could probably figure it out because they're a very well-coached team, and that's not going to change. Then talking about UCLA real quick. Of course, they lost to UNLV. Now, again, I'll tell you when I'm right. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I was absolutely wrong about UCLA. I told you guys that they were my sleeper team a little bit. I thought that they were going to be a lot better this year. I thought they were going to improve. Again, Nico Amalavia, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a good quarterback. Clearly I was wrong. Clearly I was wrong because they're 0-2 and it's not looking good for them this year. I mean, they're going to be in the mix to win only 3 or 4 games. So Nebraska, they should beat them in Pasadena. At least I'm hoping. We'll see. And then one last team I want to talk about before we get out of here. USC is looking real good. If you were penciling down USC as a victory, you might have to rethink that a little bit because they're dominating these first 2 weeks. The offense is the best it's been in Lincoln Riley's tenure there so far at USC, man. They're firing on all cylinders. Jade Mayavi looks good. Their running back core looks good. Their deep wide receiver and their defense has improved too. So we'll see about USC, but that'll be a tough game at home. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. A couple things I want to mention. Number one, I am selling 2 pairs of tickets for the game this Saturday versus Houston Christian. They're in the north end zone, very low in the north end zone. So again, I don't normally sell tickets. I'm going to do a giveaway probably later in the season, but in this case in particular, they're not my tickets. So I'm going to sell these tickets. They're north end zone. I'll sell them to you for cheaper than what's going on these sites. So again, just email me at WilsonDittman@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on social media if you're interested in these tickets. Again, they're north end zone, very low down. Just email me if you're interested. And also, we will be going live on Saturday during the game. This will be the first time I've ever done this. Some people have been asking for it. So during the game, we will be live on the channel reacting to it. We will be calling the game. So basically the plan for Saturday, we'll go live during the game, then we'll do a post-game video, and then we'll do a post-game live stream. So you can be here during the game if that interests you, but I wanted to give you guys that announcement. All right, guys, have a great Monday. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hey, if you made this far, hit that like button and subscribe. It's always fun. It's going to be great. Go, Matt Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one.